Scrum Squad, deploy for the third and final time.
Yay.
Final?
Well, Cliff Bleszinski, the series creator, originally intended for this to be the end to this. Unfortunately, Epic Games and Microsoft weren't having any of that.
Welcome to the magnum opus of Gears of War, folks. This is it, the Crash Bandicoot free of Gears of War, the Sonic free.
Well, it has a free in the title. It should be.
Apparently, we wanted to go in theme. There are like 3 writers for this thing: Karen Travis, Eric Nylund, and Aaron Lind. Also 2 producers.
If there's one thing I can give Microsoft-oriented franchises is that usually the third installment is often a big whopper in quality for them. Halo free, Gears
It's like
of
an
War
eye.
free.
Welcome to Gears of War 2.
Brought to you by Opa Gaming.
Let me just see where it was. No, I can't find
You
it.
would be hacking into the games using some funky
What are you
code,
searching?
right?
Oh, a $20 bill.
Yeah, it's a $20 bill. Basically, allow me to explain this, because again, I cannot explain it
Marcus,
now.
here's the $20 I owe you. A few years overdue, but better late than never. So,
Thanks, Dom.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go. That one-off joke from the first game finally paid off.
Hey, give them credit. They did it sooner than Star Trek did.
oh, they even a dumb psych report.
Spock
Yeah,
still
turns
technically-
out-
I mean,
Yeah, turns out Private Santiago appears to be coming to terms with his wife's death, but I still have concerns about his mental state. I am an emergency physician, and in the absence of a physiatrist, I can only offer general observation. He has been depressed, a normal reaction, but he has also had episodes of uncharacteristic anger, and in the midst of experiencing flashbacks and hypervigilance.
Oh boy.
oh
And
boy.
almost everyone in this community has lost family and shares similar levels of traumatic stress, so he is surrounded by comrades who both understand and sympathize. However, very few have taken the loved one's life under such harrowing circumstances. True. Santiago warrants continued observation. So there you go too. I figured you would appreciate me showing you this.
Yeah. Dom is coping a bit hard.
Oh boy. You know, that's one of the things with a lot of these epic games and stories. We see a lot of times, yeah, the cool and awesome bits, but you gotta realize that what's a fun experience for us may be those characters' worst moments ever. Case in point, Super
Yeah.
Metroid, but considered by a lot of people to be the best Metroid game. Worst time in Samus's life, though. I mean, sure, she kills Ridley, but she loses the baby. We all know how that really does.
Alright, so
Yeah.
here's the first major improvement that Gears of War 3 makes compared to the sequels. It starts off in a way cooler way, as you're about to see in a moment.
My name is
Trouble.
Marcus. I am
Ash.
alone in this world.
Shut up. I'm trying to get some sleep.
I'm trying to do your inner monologue now.
So yeah, we're gonna start with a flashback, actually.
Hey, this seems familiar, doesn't it?
I found this bag with your wife in it.
Actually, you're my wife, Anya,
Ex-
or at least you're gonna
yeah.
be after this game, actually. So.
No. This is your ex-wife. I'm your wife now.
It's your father.
Basically, this was when Anya got. Basically, this is something that happened in the past. Yeah. Oh, never mind. This is just him having a dream. Never mind.
No,
I'm
he's
getting
out there.
confused right
He
now.
needs
Never
you.
mind. This is. I'm mixing it up with something else. This is a dream he's having. Basically.
Like I said, though, this may seem familiar. It's sort of a mirror
Yes,
to
it-
how the first game starts.
Yes.
You know, Marcus
Just to mess with the fans'
Locust had
heads.
broken through to his house and called in to see.
Imagine playing this game
Oh,
for the first
boy.
time. You think, wait a minute, this is what I played the first time.
Are
Oh
we
wait, no,
Silent
this
Hill
didn't
now?
happen.
Marcus, what in God's name are you doing here? You're going to get yourselves killed, both of you.
Come on, Dad. I've come to get you out of here.
I've got to save my research. Do you understand how
He actually doesn't have a good point, as you're gonna learn later, way later in the game. Okay, so basically, this is what happened. You're probably wondering, what caused Adam Phoenix to go missing? Well, we're about to see for ourselves. Basically, the Locusts were attacking, And this is, remember, this is the Phoenix Mansion that we saw in the first game.
Yeah.
And basically, Marcus and his friends were actually trying to protect the mansion. Obviously, we already know that Adam Phoenix is missing, so of course we know this is gonna not gonna go well. But yeah, let's actually see for ourselves how exactly did it go badly.
There's a literal cog statue symbol in front of the
I do like the detail how this is Marcus is of course dreaming about this traumatic event, and I like that the developers took advantage of the fact that it's a dream to have the Locust disappear into a black
smoke. Yeah.
His research.
This is definitely, I'd say, Gears of War storytelling at its best game-wise.
Yes, this is the best of the game story-wise, definitely. This is the best game in general of the entire series. Basically.
Oh yeah, heck, I mean, this one still sees a lot of people in its multiplayer.
To do it. And it cost us the battle.
Yeah, there you go. Turns out, apparently, in order to turns out he disobeyed a direct order from Colonel Hoffman so he could save his father. And that's why he's in prison at the beginning of the first game. There you go.
So yeah, you can say he
A
was
life
in prison for a good
sentence.
reason. Well, with
desertion, and I'm not a specialist on the matter, but I think desertion is actually a very grave crime in the military.
Yeah.
I mean, desertion typically just gets you kicked out.
But you can't say.
well, to be fair,
Depends on what the court martial wants to say.
Not to mention that this is a very different, more harsh and world than the one we live in.
And he failed anyway.
it hurt to say the least.
I hate Mondays.
Yo, Marcus, you know, after this war is over, you're going straight back to prison.
Fortunately not. Fortunately, he'll be given a full pardon after he saves the whole world at the end of this game.
And then he'll go live on a farm with.
Also, I can see that the cog armor has received a bit of a cut here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look around the room.
So yeah, we're actually in an airship right now. Well, actually, no, a ship. Never mind. Ugh,
It looks more like a battleship. It's 2 years after the sinking of Jacinto.
Work better, brain, please. Yeah.
Here will be.
Oh, and look at that! And look at that! We have a Kojima-style opening credits where we play while the credits are showing up.
Nice. You know,
Sorry,
Metal.
everybody.
You know, if they were in better hands, I would so love a Metal Gear and Gears of War crossover. Oh my God, get it? Metal Gears of War.
Come on, Dom. Armor up.
And look
Aw,
at and look at that! Dom grew a beard.
Well, and hey, look, you got a hobby in botany, Tio.
I don't. My family doesn't have a green thumb, Jova. Sorry. It's not maliciousness. It's just we really suck at growing plants.
Come on, Dom. Come on, Dom.
I'm sorry. Standing in the hallway is better.
Sam and Cole just took off for supplies.
Maybe Baird forgot his wallet.
Ah, that Baird. Always forgetting his knickknacks. Bibs.
He's burped.
Ah.
Basically, you can actually explore the ship first, and you can even find some collectibles. The reason I would show those collectibles at the beginning, too, is because, again, this is the primary problem I have with these games. When you collect the collectible once, you can never have the proper reaction that the characters have to picking up that collectible appear in the actual game itself, again, unless you completely delete... Actually, no, that's the thing. I think I even tried it, and it becomes connected to your Xbox account, even. So
Wow.
so basically it's something which is weird.
Pick games that do that, like
I mean, they're
it's one and done.
It's weird. I mean, Naughty Dog's games have a collectible journal that you can consult at any time, but when you play the game,
in general, in general games, even if you delete your save file, that resets. The what you just described, the direction being actually tied to your account.
there you go.
The ruins of Jacinto.
Yeah, the Lambent have become quite more prominent as of late. This game takes place 2 years after Gears of War 2, by the way.
Yeah, they mentioned
So
it.
on the one hand, we took out a lot of the Locust, but now the Lambent are kind of on the rise.
Oh, we even have arcade cabinets. Oh no, actually it's a dispenser machine.
Come on, Jace.
It's alright, this is a new character, Jace, except, however, he's not going to... he has very little screen time, so don't bother, he's not important.
He's like 10 years old, man.
The game itself doesn't seem to care about him.
Well, that's a price.
Except for one specific aspect, but I'll get back to that.
CIC. Now.
What's that candy you drop down right as he leaves?
This is Captain Michelson to all ship's company. We've now entered Lambent waters. Go to alert state
Oh,
1
boy.
and secure for action.
Basically, there are these sections called Lambent waters here, and as you can guess, those are,
Sight.
well, they ain't exactly safe for swimming, let's just say to you.
Those damn things are still out
There you go, notice how when I was... Okay, hold on. I'll have a better chance to show it.
There was a piano there. For all reasons.
There you go, no... if you notice there was a star... That's where I was going to go, so there we go. Now you won't have any trouble getting lost.
Dominus radishes.
And look at that, guys!
Better be good.
Guess who's joining the fight?
Probably not. A shot.
Anya, sporting a new do and everything.
Come back
Yes.
from the dead.
Do I get a prize if I'm right?
Chairman Prescott.
No
Well,
shit.
well, well.
Ex-Chairman Prescott?
That asshole.
Huh.
He ran out on us 18 months ago. What's he expecting now? The red carpet?
So it turns out the chairman, you remember that haughty guy from the last Skintio? Yeah, he kind of ran off like a coward.
True
Yeah.
politician.
Pretty much.
Oh, trust me too. I'll take Chairman Prescott over for First Minister Jin from the new games any day. Let's just say First Minister Jin makes Chairman Prescott look like a fucking saint by comparison.
Looks like Sarah can't have a decent politician, Ben. Good to know.
It's not even just that too. But Chairman Prescott, for as douche as he is, at the very least he had that one awesome speech at the beginning of the second game. First Minister Jin is just... The entire purpose is to antagonize the main characters, even when there's no reason to.
You know, yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, finally you start running. Oh, Jesus.
Oh crap.
Well, he didn't make it far.
So there you go, Tail. The Locust have the tickers. The Lambent have the... God, what was it?
Olives, I think we're called.
Yes, and exploding spiders.
Basically. Oh, just when you thought spiders couldn't get any more enduring, now they explode when they latch onto you.
That's the primary thing with the Lambent. The emulsion is their blood, and the emulsion is a resource that also explodes, like nitroglycerin.
What the fuck?
Meaning,
That is a Lambent foot soldier, and yes, they barf acid at you too.
yes, again, the primary menace of this game is the Lambent. The Locust will also be involved, but the Lambent, ever since we took down a lot of Locust Tail, the Lambent
Are the real threat.
Oh, by the way, even worse news, the Lambent have kind of evolved to the point where they're very good and adaptable in water. And seeing as how most of the planet of Jacinto, well, most of the place where Jacinto was is now covered in water, you can imagine that poses a bit of a problem for us.
Exactly.
So, in a sense, while we definitely defeated the Locust for the time being, we may have unleashed an even greater horror, in a sense.
Great.
Exactly. Well,
mean,
Tail, we had no... Tail,
No choice.
To quote, not just that, Tail, to quote Marcus, and we had no idea. It's not like we could have known.
In a sense, this kind of gives a bit of depth to why Adam Phoenix may have been saying, "What have you done?" Being a scientist, he probably foresaw the consequences this would have.
Exactly.
Oh,
Let's just say while he was missing, Adam Phoenix has been trying to find a way to exterminate the Lambent and the Locust once and for all.
Sovereign to KR-01, you are
Oh, and don't
clear.
worry, Tio, the
Forward
Lambent
lift
will
is
get
being
even more
raised for you.
ferocious
Stand
throughout
by.
this game.
They will. Yeah, he's right, actually.
And if you fought, and Tio, if you fought the second game at Creepy Crawlies, you ain't seen nothing yet with the Lambent.
here like nothing happened.
Better park that nice new Raven carefully.
Let's get the original strand of
Yeah, a lot of people aren't too happy to see a politician. What a shock.
You think he knows that the cog fell apart after he disappeared?
You think he cares? Chairman Prescott, welcome to what's left of the cog.
I'll have answers for you, ladies and gentlemen. But later.
I need to see Colonel Hoffman immediately.
Hoffman's been gone almost as long as you have, Chairman.
He's dead?
He left to take a group of civilians.
You didn't even knew.
Captain Michelson's the
He's
same
been
place
away.
as
He
now.
left first too.
Not that we have much of a military left.
I'd better talk to the gallant captain then. I have a mission for him. Oh, and Sergeant Phoenix, you'll want to see this.
Oh boy.
A CD, huh? Well, people still use CDs in this time.
This better not be a shopping list.
It looks like an old style CD.
At least it's not a floppy.
I guess, yeah. Okay, basically, as while you were gone, we learned that Chairman Prescott, that guy we just saw, which was the prime minister, the minister that gave that big speech at the beginning of the second game. Turns out he disappeared. Basically, he ran off with his tail between his legs.
Yeah.
He
played the true politician part, and a lot of people aren't too happy to see him.
Exactly. And guess what? And guess what, Wibs? Anya is joining our squad, which means that for the first time ever we have a female cog in our party.
Furthermore,
but we'll actually get another one more, who's voiced by Claudia Black, the actress who plays Chloe in the Uncharted series. And guess what? She gives Sam the exact same voice she gives to Chloe.
Nice, Australian.
Well, the actress is Australian, so.
Once again, the composer busts out his chops rather well.
Still Steve Jablonski. Yeah, let me talk about it. Okay, the two producers, like I said, Tanya Jessen and Chris Yalke. Cliff Bezinski as the designer, Joe Graff is the programmer, two artists, Chris Perna and Wyatt Johnson, the three writers that I mentioned, Cliff Bezinski as the composer, and I'm pretty sure that's it.
Rod Ferguson as the producer. Does that as well.
Actually, no, there's only two producers, like I said, Tanya Jessen and Chris Mialke.
Oh, really?
So Rod Ferguson wasn't the producer for this.
Let me check. Let me cross-reference with IMDb to
Well,
sure.
well, we do know that he was involved in the original trilogy. They've told that plenty of times.
Maybe he was more in the developer role at this time
Like
before rising in the
consultant?
ranks.
Let me check. Yeah, he says here, video game credits, Gears of War 3, but doesn't say what he did, though.
Until we are clear of Lambent waters.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh yeah, basically, Dribs, the
Let's
more
get upstairs,
dominant
see what's
species
on
of
the
Locust
desk.
on Rampant now are the Lambent, who bring with them their own mutations. For example, their versions of tickers are now these spiders that explode.
Yes. Exploding spiders.
Oh, by the way, those giant masses you see in the distance, some of them are tentacles, made from lambent species. Yeah, they've adapted to water, and considering how most of the area is water, we're in a bit of trouble.
You can say Joe we're in bad waters.
Or we could say we're in it deep now.
Too deep for me.
Surprised
There you
you
go.
cracked the phone on that matter, Dribs.
Who needs? There you go. I can just saw through these crates. Let me see.
No, IMDb
Here you go, Tail.
producers.
That's okay. I just checked Moby Games Tail. Gears of War, on Gears of War 3, he was an executive producer. Not a producer,
okay.
an executive producer. He was a producer on the first two games, but for this one, he was promoted.
Demoted.
Alright, let's see.
Oh, look at that!
13th
So-
stage of it.
Turns out the CD is from our dad. Let's see what he says.
Let me guess. He's well,
Marcus.
after he sent this message, he died.
No, Dwebs. He's alive. Well, remember, there's a whole plot twist at the convention at the end of the second game was that he's alive. Wouldn't make sense for him not to be dead.
About the other characters, talking wolves for wolves during the subs.
That would be kind of an interesting payoff to the final twist. Hey, plot twist is that Adam Phoenix is still alive, and then we go to him. Oh, it turns out he died while you were getting here. Well, that didn't really do anything for us now, did it?
The one time, well, I've seen that pulled off a few times, one of which being Beyond Good and Evil. Oh, hello.
It's the emotion that's killing it. It was always the emotion, you see, and I can stop it. I understand.
So now it's Final Fantasy 7, the spirits within,
Damn
where the
machine.
planets are living being, and if we
Baird's
shoot
never
it,
here when you
we
need
kill
him.
a bit of it.
No. What he means, he's actually going to explain when we first meet him face to face. Anyway, so I'll let you hear for yourself when we get to that point.
Come on! Everybody get out there and finish these assholes!
Yay!
All right then. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, this game also marks the first time that we have a female cog on our party. Yeah.
Captain's cabin. Michelson's badly wounded. I can't hold them off alone. We require
Oh boy. Oh god, the guy who abandoned us may need our help. Thinking
Right.
about it.
Great. All right, fine. Not just the. Well, okay. How about this? I'll just tell you this too. Let's just say the game will actually will surprise you when it comes to Chairman Prescott by the end of this.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You know,
I'll just say this. Think about it for a moment too. Why exactly does Chairman Prescott have that CD in the first place?
and why would he have waited till now to bring it to us either? I think one of the best ways to sum this game up is, hey guys, remember the Locust? Yeah, they weren't so bad in hindsight.
Yes, the Locust didn't explode when you killed them.
Yeah, they were more decent and knew when to die. These guys, they're sore losers and they try to blow you up with them. Ironic, because it was a Lambent that
I can definitely see the higher production and better confidence in the team, considering everything is better rendered. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this game came out in 2011. This game pretty much pushes the 360 to its limit. I mean, Gears of War Judgment. Yeah, there was Gears of War Judgment 2 years later, but Gears of War Judgment, you can tell it's pretty much running on the Gears free engine. It doesn't really feel like they did any major improvements, at least not that I can see. So
between titles like this and Halo 3, Microsoft were on top of the world around like 2010 to 2011.
Not to mention Gears of War Judgment only had 2 years of development time rather than the 3 that this game had.
Yeah.
So it would.
Free.
Yes, Joe.
Go on. I was gonna say 3 years does often turn out a good product. You know, provided that they know what they're doing.
Well, they didn't really need to. I mean, they already had the gameplay set in place and most of the character models. All they had to do was, polish up things a bit more and create the new assets for the new places, and that's basically it, really. I can see a game like this can get done in 3 years just fine in the hands of competent developers.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, usually 3 years is a good enough development cycle. There's kind of a general rule of scale. Now, obviously, there are some exceptions to it, but the general rule of thumb is like when you're dealing with, your typical game.
I also do like.
3 being the extent.
As you can also probably notice too, now that you have the full context, you'll notice that Gears of War Ultimate Edition took the overall lighting scheme from this game.
I can see that.
Because unlike Gears of War 2 and especially Gears of War 1, Gears of War 3 doesn't have the too brown or too gray problem that sometimes could put
much more colorful.
Boy.
However, and I would like to mention this, it does a good, like Shepherd Gaming mentioned in his videos, it does a good job. Well, actually, even Shepherd Gaming will argue that even this game, in his opinion, could get a bit too colorful for his personal taste, because he actually was a fan of the muted colors of the first two. But whatever, to each his own, I guess. But personally, I think the overall balance is that this game is more colorful, but not too colorful. Like it's one. Because Gears of War 4 and Gears 4 and 5 did just look like Uncharted, which again, I love the way Uncharted looks, but that's not the Gears aesthetic though. The Gears being a darker and more gritty devastated world, it made sense for the original developers to go for a more muted color style to properly reflect the atmosphere,
In terms of why this game is the most colorful, I feel like it works sort of in 2 ways. For one, it works as showing an evolution of a tech. But secondly, it works in a sense of evolution for the story. Like, for example, the first game definitely had its artistic gray color scale thing here and there. The second game was a continuation of that. But the third game is a showing of the third act of this overall tale, where things are sort of darkest before they become bright again.
Exactly.
In a sense, this just sort of shows that, technically things are worse off, but we did make things a bit better with the Locust no longer being able to constantly poach us.
Yeah. Too bad they were replaced with a worse enemy. Yeah, like I said, yeah. I will, for my personal stand, obviously it depends on your taste. Like there are Gears veterans who prefer the more muted color scheme because it gave the series its own unique look, and I can understand that argument. Personally, I prefer this. It feels to me like the developers were trying to reach a compromise between both sides. They wanted to try to find a good balance between muted colors, but at the same time have just enough color to it so that it's a bit more appealing to the other crowd. So yeah, this is a good compromise for me. I think this particular color scheme that we're using right now. This is pretty much how I think Gears should look like. I don't particularly think it was a good idea to have 4 and 5 basically go full Naughty Dog in the way they look. Again, Naughty Dog's look works for their games because Uncharted is much more lighthearted compared to Gears of War. But no, having all those bright colors and completely devoid of any kind of grittiness to the colors in Gears of War, no, that doesn't work.
I don't even get the changes. Like, for as much as people may have complained about, shooters being gray in scale and whatnot, that was never really a complaint about the Gears of War.
I can even use Naughty Dog to compare that because Last of Us, the overall way the colors work in The Last of Us is pretty much exactly like in this game actually. Like
muted, but the colors were still there.
Exactly, yeah. Last of Us, the overall color scheme is very similar to the way this particular game looks. That's how you should make a Gears of War game look. But for some reason, the overall color scheme and lighting of 4 and 5 is much more akin to Uncharted than Gears of War, and I don't understand what was the point of that. I guess because they wanted to casualize it and make it appeal more to, but at what cost, Coalition? At what cost?
It really does boggle the mind.
Anyway, let's get back to this game.
Well, in the middle of a gameplay section, I'm just trying to find something to talk about.
No,
not just that, Dweebs, but...
Well, okay. There is stuff to talk about, I guess, in this game, but don't worry, it's not like
not just that. Honestly, I think at that point, if I do believe... Oh,
there you go, cutscene then.
You must take off! Why not? We'll find someone to do it! Oh, very well. Stand by.
Michelson's gone.
Phoenix, get down to
Oh
the hangar.
dear.
The helicopters are under attack. We need to get them airborne right away.
Are you wounded?
Yes, but
Then you stay here, and you don't move until we get back. Understood?
We're calling the shots
I'll try
now,
not to get
politician.
myself killed, Sergeant.
Yeah, you do that. I'm not the conversational type. But when I get back, I want a nice long chat.
Oh boy. Got some
I'll come back and
explaining
give
to
you first aid
do.
as soon as we've got the choppers away, okay?
We should have handcuffed him to a pipe. Casey does another disappearing act.
He's not going anywhere with this chopper.
True, yeah.
Got to get to the chopper.
Even got a comfy chair. So.
Delta to hangar.
Chapter 2,
Okay,
Abandoned
on
Ship.
units. Anyone down there? We've got to get those Ravens in the air.
Okay, but all the Ravens died. Oh, you
tight.
mean the
We're on our
baby
way.
Ravens, okay.
Get to the chopper! Literally, get to the chopper right there on the objection.
Damn it, they're in the pipes.
Oh boy.
Did you just see it when that happened?
Clear them out.
Yeah, you're rolling along, minding your own business, but suddenly a group of spiders come around.
Exploding spiders from the pipes.
I complain about them ruining the pipe system, but we're not going to be needing this ship.
Pretty sure that's the last of your problems right now.
Kick.
Now, what I was saying before is that honestly, it may arouse if by analyzing for a second 4 and 5 again, I know only what I know so far, but if the color saturation was literally the only problem, it would probably not be that much of an issue itself. It's just another thing that piles up onto everything else.
Yeah, the concentration is the least of those games' problems. I can assure you.
Basically, let me think about it. Let me put it like this: it's a problem in the sense where it's like a byproduct of the major issue with Gears 4 and 5. Basically, the fact that it feels like they're trying to casualize it to the point where, you know, the people who helped make that franchise be as big as it were, the fans, don't really care for it as much.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's one of those. It's like if.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, you were saying something.
I was. It's like if Nintendo decided to make Splatoon's colors grittier in order to try to appeal more to the Call of Duty franchise or to the Call of Duty COD or something like it.
They technically, well, not gritty, but they technically did a sort of the contrast change thanks to the Octoling expansion, which tries to do a more slightly neutered skin to reflect a bit the neon aesthetic, the subway setting. It's slightly similar to how Kingdom Hearts does things when it deals with the Pirates of the Caribbean world. If that makes any sense.
I guess. All right, everybody. In the next part, we'll actually have an interesting little twist in this first act that you probably wouldn't expect. So see you then.
All right then. See you.
Plenty more to come. See you then.